With Let's Find Joy Photography, letsfindjoy.com. If you watch my last video on how I edit reds out of a newborn photo, you'll see that this is what we ended with. In this video today, I'm going to be showing you how I smooth and get rid of dents in the skin. So after I've gotten rid of the reds, this is how I polish up the skin. And these are all hand edits. I have made my own actions for them to be easier to get to. But for the sake of this video, I'll be showing you exactly how I made those actions so that it's you know how to do it, and then you can save it as an action for yourself as well. So we've gotten to this point, and we need to finish editing the skin. So first I'm going to hit Command J to make a new layer on my keyboard, or Control J if you're on a PC, and I'm going to select my patch tool. Normally your panel over here looks like this with this band-aid here for the spot healing brush, but we're going to right click it and select the patch tool. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And when you use the patch tool, you click with your mouse and put a circle around the problem area that you want to fix and drag it to a clean area of skin. See? And then you just want to do that for all the areas that you need to fix. So she has some flakes, so we're going to get rid of those. You'll see here on this part of the nose, I kind of drag it to another little rim part of the nose so that it looks natural, but I didn't do it that well, so I need to redo that. Okay, we'll start over. Better. So when you do this, it looks a lot cleaner than the spot healing brush tool for me, in my opinion. And you see all these little spots that babies usually have. It's pretty normal. I don't edit all of them, just if there's any big ones that are noticeable that would notice if mom or dad decides to print it up big. When we smooth the skin, it'll get rid of more of it, but when you get rid of the bigger things, it's a lot easier to work with. Alright, she came in. This was the first image that we took after she came in. So she had lots of clothing and diaper marks. So we're going to fix all of that. It's best to do smaller circles when you do the patch tool, so that it looks natural, but certain things you can kind of get away with. So since I did a bigger circle, I'm just further smoothing that skin there. And then now we're just going to finish getting rid of the rest of her diaper marks. Being careful not to edit like any of her wrinkle lines from her little chunky squishiness, because we want those to remain on babies because it's so cute. And sometimes you'll have like a pesky area and you kind of have to keep doing it until it fixes it. And then she has lots of spots here. I'm going slower for the video, but when you have it down pretty good and like you're used to doing this pretty quick, you'll go quick like this so that it's not as time consuming. And this area, since it's not as in focus, doesn't have to be perfect, because when we smooth the skin, it's going to get rid of most of it. So And then there's like a little blemish here, or not blemish, but uneven skin tone there, so I'm going to fix that. And then we have a few more lines over here that we need to fix. Awesome. That looks good to me. Okay, so I'm going to turn that off so you can see the before and the after. Command-Shift-E to merge. And then for smoothing the skin, I do, most people when they do a high pass layer, they use it to sharpen the image, but we're going to do the exact opposite with our high pass layer. So we're going to go, let me redo that so you can see. You're going to go up to filter and you're going to click on other and high pass. Make sure this area is 23.3, click OK. And then it'll create a new layer for the high pass filter. And then you're going to come down to this, just kidding, it doesn't make a new layer. I forgot, you have to first make a new layer. Okay, so I undid that. That's what just happened. I pushed Command Z on my computer to undo that. So Command J or Control J if you're on a PC to make a new layer. And then we make the high pass layer. 23.3, click OK. And then we're going to come to this drop down menu right here. Make sure your layer is still selected for the high pass filter. And we're going to change it to soft light. So just scroll down until, there it is, you see it. So soft light. It really sharpens and adds contrast, but we don't want that. So we're going to hit Command or Control on our keyboard, hold that down and press I. That inverts the image and it adds a blur to the whole image. We don't want it added to the whole image. So we need to make a layer mask. So you want to click this image down here, this little button to add a layer mask. And you're going to hit Command or Control I again. So hold down Command and hit I to invert the layer once again. So it looks like it did just before, like nothing happened to it. So we need to use our brush to brush on that blur to smooth the skin. So you're going to hit B or press the two-way arrow here to change your brush to a white one. Because you're painting on, pressing X on your keyboard, excuse me, because you're painting on a black layer, you need the white brush. Have your opacity up to 100% because we can change the layer opacity afterwards to get it to a level that we're okay with. And then you're just going to paint. You're going to avoid it on the hairline. You're going to avoid the hair. And you can use the bracket tools on your keyboard to make your brush bigger or smaller. It's a lot quicker. So on your keyboard to the right of the letter P, you'll see the left and right bracket tools, and you use those to make your brushes bigger or smaller. You want to also avoid getting it on the eyelashes because that will inhibit the sharpness of the photo. It'll look like it's not as sharp, it'll be softer. And we do not want that. And as you can see when you do this, it just really helps smooth the skin. Creates a nice effect. And if you look closely, you see that this cute little baby, she had some hair in her arms. And I don't ever remove the hair unless the mom really wants me to because it's part of their newborn stage. But when I blur it, it just makes it not as noticeable, which moms are happy with. So you still see it, but it's just not as noticeable. So if the baby has a lot of hair and you really need to get rid of more of it, so it's not as, you don't want your eye to focus on the hair, right? You want it to focus on the cute little baby squish right here. So if you need to duplicate this layer and smooth it again, that's what I would do. so that you don't completely erase the hair, you know, unless mom asks. But it doesn't hinder where your eyes go to in the image. It still lets your eye focus on the baby and not on the hairy part of the baby. So I'm just making my brush bigger and smaller as needed to smooth the skin. And then I'm going to hit X on my keyboard to change back to a black brush. Because her little squish creases have been blurred, they're not as noticeable or sharp, but you love squish rolls in babies, so you want those to remain. So this doesn't darken it, it just removes the blur and returns it to its original state before you added the blur. Because we still want that definition there. So I do it in all the places that have creases that I blurred over. Okay, that looks good. And then, like I mentioned earlier, I think I forgot some spots right here to blur. If you feel like that's too plastic looking, you can just adjust the opacity down to however you like it. So this is no opacity, and then this is with the blur. Command-Shift-E to merge. And then I also sharpen the eye line area. Even if baby doesn't have eyelashes, I still sharpen this line so that it's sharper. It just looks a lot better. And to do that, I do a high pass filter again. So you go to Command J to create your new layer. Go over to Filter, Other, High Pass. You can leave the radius the same. And then once that loads, we're going to make it a soft, light filter again. So we'll come to this drop down and change it to soft light. Okay, so it's contrast. There's lots of contrast and it's sharpened, and that's actually what we want. So we do not invert this part of the layer. We just create a layer mask and invert that layer mask so that that sharpness is not on the entire image, and it's only going to be where we paint it on. So here's without and with it. So you see that it has done nothing to the image unless we start to brush on it. So make sure you have a white brush because we're on a black layer. And you're just gonna, you can zoom in however much you like to, and you're gonna go over the eyeline area. And this little baby, she does have some eyelashes, so I'm going down a little further to sharpen those eyelashes. Okay, so before, after, see how that just really sharpens that part of the face and just gets it an overall, just gives it a finished look. Command-Shift-E to merge, and then I'm going to show you the before and the after of our skin edit so that you can see the difference. So this is, oh, sorry, this was before, this was when we did the red. So that already has the reds from when we fixed it in our previous video. And so I forgot to make a before, but we can kind of see from the before of just the reds, the image, into now that it's a lot better. All her skin dents, everything is gone. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you have any comments or questions in the boxes